have saved the best, obviously, for last.
Quentin?
Well, nobody else. They're not here.
Oh.
So we have saved the best for last.
You'll think that, and then you're going to hear
Yes,
the
I will.
speech.
No, you stop that.
So to start off, just by a show of hands, how many of you in here know someone who speaks a foreign language? All right. How many of you in here can actually speak a foreign language? How about just a little? Just a little.
A little bit.
Okay. What do you speak?
Spanish.
You speak Spanish. Okay. So would you mind helping me out by having a little conversation?
Maybe.
Hola.
Hola.
What am I supposed to do?
Muy bien. ¿Y tú?
Oh, más o menos.
Okay.
¿Encontrás gracioso que... what I write down? Que yo me creo que yo soy listo?
No entiendo, lo siento.
Okay. That's just just to make my point. Many of us don't actually speak, or in the U.S., many of us don't actually speak a foreign language, and I feel like that's a problem. It's a little bit of a problem. It kind of limits us in who we're able to speak with, and I think it makes things difficult in general. But what I said to her was, do you think it's funny that I think I'm smart? So my hope for all of you today is that I can convince you of the importance of learning a foreign language, and that you shouldn't limit yourself by living the life of a monolingualist. So thanks to the many means of communication and transportation as well as globalization of the world today has become a much, much smaller place. Today people are able to travel from one part of the world to the opposite side with relative ease and comfort. You sit on a plane, you go across the world, or you sit in your nice air-conditioned seat in the private jet. Maybe most of us it's not a private jet, but whether it be for work, travel, and education. So as a result, we come into contact with people from different cultures and nations and who speak different languages and tongues and dialects. There's become an increasing need for people to know more than just one language. So the U.S. as a nation has fallen behind the rest of the world in this aspect, or this area, in that when you go, 1 in 4 Americans, according to a Gallup poll, only 1 in 4 Americans can speak more than one language. And for the most part, these are immigrants that come to the nation. It's not actual native United Statesians, Americans. Whereas in Europe, more than 1 in 2, or approximately 1 in 2 are able to speak a foreign language, or a language other than their native language fluently. So part of this problem, I feel, is that in the U.S., we're not exposed to a foreign language at a young age. We're exposed to it when we reach high school, and we're only exposed to it for 4 years at most, if you choose to study it that long. And what I'm proposing is that we increase this percentage by introducing students to foreign languages as early as elementary school. They do this in Europe, they do it in Africa, they do it in Latin America, and it works. Okay, you can just look at the percentages. 1 in 2 Europeans can speak a foreign language. I feel it's actually the UK that's bringing that statistic down. They think it's okay to be like us, just only speak English. Sorry about that. Research has shown that there are several benefits to learning another language. Now, among the many benefits, there are lots of benefits, but I've condensed them down to 3 broad, they're kind of specific, but they're more broad topics that I feel that they encompass the majority of the benefits. So, without further ado, number 1, learning a foreign language enhances skills and creativity. Research shows that students who learn more than one language have greater analytical and problem-solving skills. Such children tend to be more creative, confident, and have a higher IQ in general, and can express themselves better than their monolingual counterparts. And learning another language can also help you understand other languages as well. Now this is just a general, just a general statistic. Just because you're a monolingual, or just because you only speak one language does not make you dumber than others that speak more than one language. However, this is just in general. Two of my roommates started missions in Brazil, and so as a result, they speak Portuguese. And so sometimes I can understand what they're saying because I have a little bit of background in Spanish, and I don't know, I think it's interesting because I picked up on a little bit of Portuguese as well. Can I speak it? Not really, but I understand simple phrases, and it just shows how learning a language helps you understand other languages as well. Number 2, learning another language contributes to professional success. When searching for a job or a career, being able to put on your resume that you're bilingual or you speak another language is pretty good. And it makes you more marketable and valuable to employers. And the number of possible jobs available to you increases drastically. And I remember this from my own experience. When I was searching for a job in the summer, I put on my resume that I knew a little bit of Spanish, and it kind of helped. They said that it kind of helped me get the job. I worked at a Chipotle over the summer, which is a Mexican fast food restaurant. I don't think it's a fast food restaurant. I think it's just a restaurant. It's pretty good there. But some of my coworkers, actually pretty much all my coworkers, were straight out of Mexico. So their English wasn't very great, but they spoke Spanish. So sometimes when they were trying to express themselves to me, they couldn't do it in English. But since I knew a little bit of Spanish, I talked to them a little, and it would really help out in when we were trying to get things done during work. And I think it helped us come closer, like we became more friendly. And another example of how it can improve your marketability is there's a Maluka, I think it's Maluka, down the street over there. I talked to a guy who works there, and he said that employees that speak Spanish automatically have a $1 increase to their hourly wage. Doesn't sound like much, but over time it adds up, which is pretty good. And then if you speak French, your wage increases $3 per hour or more. Unfortunately, I don't speak either of those fluent enough to get that raise, but anyway. And lastly, number 3, learning another language contributes to personal growth. The importance for bilingualism can be seen from the way it contributes to the development of a person. With the learning and knowledge of some other languages comes a better understanding of different cultures and ways of thinking. By learning another language, you literally have to think in a different way. My sister Amber was explaining how when this young man or this person would speak Italian or thinking of something romantic, they think in French, or if they're thinking of something emotional, they would think of Spanish or Italian. And knowing another language helps make one more understanding and comfortable around people not of their own culture. And I personally feel that you allow yourself the opportunity to meet new people, and you actually validate that person when you understand their language, or if you take the conscious effort to learn their language. If you go to a foreign country on vacation or for work or something, you understand the language of the people there. They'll actually, like if you go to France, you try to learn French, you might not be perfect at it, but you're trying to get around town, and people there are very understanding if you try and speak their language. They're very respectful, and they're respectful to you because they see that you respect their own language, and it's good. So in conclusion, I would just like to leave you all with this question. Do you really want to limit yourself do you really want to limit yourself in a world where there are so many rich cultures, languages, people, ideas, by limiting yourself to just speaking one language? So, leaders of our church have often encouraged us to educate ourselves, and in educating ourselves, we have to learn, or it comes learning another language. However, I'm telling you right now to learn another language. It'll not only benefit your life, but it'll benefit and enrich the lives of other people that don't speak English, or you validate that person, so you're